What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to Everyday Struggle. Nadeska Akademiks and Wayno here. Guys,
good morning, everybody.
What's
the deal?
You got some energy this morning, Ak.
I always got energy.
You got some rest? Whenever you get rest, you have energy.
No, I'm always good. Like, first of all, I sleep every time before these lights. Yo, we tape too early, yo. People just really be thinking, like, yo, who has energy at like 5 a.m.?
Yeah, we should have a conversation about changing the time of the show. Does anyone honestly care if we come on in the middle of the day or late in the day?
I do, because I got other stuff I got to do.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And also, it's important. Like, I can't start my day and then come here. You know what I mean? I got to do this, then I'm out.
Right.
Yeah, plus people have been responding to that question. They said a lot of them watch it on the way to like work or school.
They just keep thinking every time the show's late it's because of me. Like yesterday,
we're going to stick with that narrative. It's definitely
I've been good for like a month now.
Yeah, you have been good for a minute, but most of the time when we late, it's because of you. We've never been late because of either one of us.
There's other niggas here.
All right, man. So let's get into it. So yesterday was like really heavy. I think a lot of us are still really having a hard time coping with the loss of Nipsey Hussle. But the LAPD has identified the man who murdered him as someone he actually knew. It's a 29-year-old man named Eric Holder, and they believe the motive was actually personal. So multiple sources have been telling TMZ that the shooter had a really intense conversation or an argument with Nipsey shortly before the incident. Then he left, and they feel like he returned to the scene in an act of revenge. And the shooting was also captured on surveillance footage. Now, there were memorials held for Nipsey in both LA and New York last night, and unfortunately the one in LA turned into a little bit of chaos, but we know that this is not what Nipsey would have wanted. It's not a good way to honor his legacy, but people do continue to pay their respects. Nick Cannon especially, he said he actually plans to pick up Nipsey's work where he left off, hinting that he might actually finish up Nip's documentary on the herbalist Dr. Sebi. He said, quote, "Now your message is my message, your work is my work. I know you're still rocking with us and your voice will never be silenced." Now, of course, like according to Billboard, like his music is streaming super well. It's increased by over, I think, 2,500%. Victory Lap is currently at #2 on iTunes. This doesn't really soften the blow, but at least fans are going out to support his work.
Yeah, I mean, Jada Pinkett said a long time ago, you know, that rappers get better promotion. It's like, people always, now new people are coming in because they said that his followers went up by like 700,000. I mean, we seen that when X passed away as well. Like X had like 11 million or something, went to 20 million in a day. It was like insane. But this whole situation, I'm happy that this came out only because, you know, there was all these conspiracy theories. And we got to stop giving the government and trying to paint them as they're just murdering us. We're murdering each other. You know, we're murdering each other. The way music is presented, the way this masculinity in hip hop sometimes is presented, like we rap about situations, or artists rap about situations like this on the other side of the coin, and it's cool. But then when it happens to somebody that we actually give a fuck about, we see how real it is. Right. Somebody that he knew, somebody that it wasn't a gang rivalry, somebody from the same gang that he's a part of. It was an altercation, they saying, and the dude came back and retaliated. Like I said, we got to stop looking at everybody else but the mirror.
Right.
I mean, we taking out our own, and this shit is disgusting. I mean, all of this because of a disagreement.
Yeah, you took someone's life away that was working so hard. Which brings us back to this conversation we've had before. I believe it was Boosie have said before, like when you've got a certain level of success, you can't stay in your neighborhood, which is very disheartening, right? Because that was Nipsey's whole thing, wanting to give back to his community and build, and now we've lost him because of it.
Yeah, you know, like I was trouble watching the surveillance. There's a couple of surveillance footage floating around there about like what happened. You could kind of see a few things, and you know, like one thing that struck me as, you know, like I mean, it's odd to a certain extent, but then you kind of expect it because it's in front of his story. Like he's just chilling, you know, like he's chilling. He's not really like has his guard up. And clearly, because he knows the other person, the person had the opportunity to get close to him, which again, you know, a lot of times when situations like this happen, we ask, yo, where was security? Hey, why were you here? Why was this? And, you know, again, if you feel comfortable in a place that you feel like you're trying to help the community, you're getting a lot of love, you're probably not going to be moving like super paranoid and even like super like on edge. But ultimately, that's what allowed the guy, and I'm super happy that LAPD, and of course, you know, like I seen it on social media before I even seen the cops say it, actually pointed out like the dude, because like these conspiracy theories are getting out of hand.
Yeah, it's
like,
really out of hand.
Like the government, like doctor, nobody gives a fuck about all of that shit right now. Like nobody cares about a documentary. Nobody cares about what the government wants. Nah, like let's actually call it for what it is. And you know, it was obviously revenge killing. The sad part about it, I know you said altercation. I heard it was just an argument. Like when I usually hear altercation, I'm thinking physical.
Well, it was an altercation prior. I'm hearing that it was an altercation prior, like a week or two ago, with that dude.
With Nipsey involved, or
I don't know if he was involved, but it was an altercation around the store. Something I read. It was like an altercation around the store with the dude. He came back around there. Nipsey called him a rat or whatever the case may be, and the dude left and he came back and retaliated. That's some of the stuff that I read. But again, it's like we taking out our own. We love to give the government credit and say, oh yeah, man, they was the ones that, no, this is somebody that looked like you, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like your reflection killing yourself. This is a person who probably at one point in time, they were on better terms, you know, and that's how we do our own.
Yeah, people are always gonna have disputes, but the fact that you think you can take someone's life over a dispute is just, it's just really still hard to like wrap your head around it.
Yeah, and you know, also like, unfortunately, violence begets more violence because we're hearing, since I think the guy's hiding out, right? The police, they released his picture. They're asking for help from the public, of course.
Because they're trying to prevent other people from going out and committing other acts,
and
right?
That's exactly what's been happening. Like, I'm seeing many miscellaneous reports. They're not really confirmed, but people just saying, oh, they shot up his girlfriend's house. They shot up his mama's house. And you start thinking about it, you're like, again, that person is clearly the person that we need to get. But now you're going to see other people that are getting really hurt in the crossfire. And you're going to see this ongoing violence until he gets caught. And shit, it might not even stop them because, again, when people are hurting, and again, you can't bring a life back, but you have all this anger bottled in, sometimes it results in stuff like this. So, you know, I'm hoping they get this guy in custody. You could tell that I think the LAPD has a good sense of what's going on because that's the reason why you put this out there.
Right,
you know,
right.
You want people to stop thinking this other shit, and also like, yo, let's get this guy in custody. That all this other stuff y'all doing, we could kind of like try to.
Well, yeah, I don't, even if they do get him in custody, whatever happens with this guy or people who are affiliated or love him, the guy who allegedly did this, it's not going to stop because LA politics is just a whole different way of thinking. That's their culture about how they move out there. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate, but a lot of tragedy is going to come from this. It's not just going to be, it stops tomorrow because the guy gets locked up.
Right.
You know, Nipsey, again, like he's a person that we all love, but on the side of his neighborhood, that's a whole different dynamic that people know nothing about. And there's going to be a lot of repercussions from it. It's just sad to see that this one thing, it took this one sucker to take out a person who's real, you know what I mean? And it affected the world. Like, you see how many people, I mean, just in New York, period. But then other places, even Beyonce, you know, went out to say something to give condolences. So many people who had love for this guy and his message and what he was trying to convey. It's just sad to see or it all unfold, you know?
Yeah, I feel like the story still goes deeper than even what we're hearing. Even though I think that provides a little bit of clarity to it. Maybe an altercation weeks before, argument earlier that day, came back. But like just kind of watching it, like it felt like it was more than just like out of anger. Like there's even on the video you see him he's kicking Nipsey's lifeless body.
Yeah, well I don't think that the story is deeper. I just think that this is the dumb shit that people do. I mean, like I was talking on Twitter the other day about just like, because the conversation in America about gun violence is always like, the general is like mass shootings, right? And how mass shoot, and I don't like to compare tragedy to tragedy, but when you think about this one shooting, and I said how guns just don't do anything good. Guns are not toys. They're not made to like, to scare you. They're made as weapons of destruction. And these weapons of destruction in the hood, so to speak, in poverty, that's the leading cause of our deaths. Amongst all the other shit we gotta worry about, how we eat. We gotta watch our back from our own people. That shit is,
I mean, Nipsey always talked about, he was always honest about his upbringing in his neighborhood and said sometimes it felt like warfare, right? A lot of lives were always lost. So it goes even deeper than we just have to learn to reframe our thinking. And as people of color, like, learn to value each other and each other's lives. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be like, think that a life is something so casual that you could take just because you're upset with a person. But
And another thing while I'm watching this, I know like usually these aren't even thoughts reserved for people of color, but I was like, just watching again the surveillance footage, just kind of listen to these like theories or stories of how it played. I'm like, this guy might be really mentally ill. Like again, I know that's not something we're gonna think of.
There are reports that said he was in and out of mental, but it's not like all. Like I think TMZ has reported it, but we're gonna wait and make sure it's all like confirmed.
I mean,
which that does contribute to like this type of shit happening, you know. And of course, we look in like the neighborhoods and. You know, like, that's usually ignored when it comes to violence at all. But unfortunately, mine have played a part. And also, if I'm hearing that this guy, like, because again, say whatever, they get in an argument, he's called a rat or whatever. It's crazy how just that is like a trigger point for some people.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of people, the thing is like, and I just know this because I have friends who've been like told on, and I have people I grew up with that have told on people. A lot of people who, put themselves in that situation, they don't like when you call them out about that shit. Like, I mean, like they'll be a part of something like that, and then when you call them out about it, they get really upset about it. You know what I mean? Which is, this whole shit is just ridiculous. Like you said, the whole ideology, the whole way of thinking in these instances is just insane. And what's crazy about this is, like, let's say this is not Nipsey Hussle, this is somebody else, this is a totally different person. A lot of these actions are normal.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, growing up in the hood myself, a lot of things that I thought was regular until I started to be around different things and travel and meet different people and learn different things. A lot of things that I thought was regular is just not fucking regular. Yeah. And we take that shit in every day because this is how we live.
Yeah, I've seen even a lot of people saying as well, because, you know, sometimes you of course, you listen to, you see kind of lifestyle like rappers live, just rappers in general, and even listen to lyrics. And I see a lot of people asking like, yo, why didn't him and his guys have weapons on him or whatever? And like, I mean, again, I never knew Nipsey like that. So I don't want to like speak really to his character and how he was moving. But, you know, it don't feel like he was moving like that, or probably felt he needed to, at least there.
Yeah, and I mean, that's another thing that I brought up when I was having this conversation. Is like, people think that you having a gun, like that doesn't make the situation better.
Yeah, people act like guns are like bulletproof vests.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like,
like if I have a gun, because you have a gun and I have a gun, then everything's okay. Man, listen, that creates all types of other problems. We not even getting into the thing about people getting hit with stray bullets and shit. It's just a kid, real quick, not to kind of divert, but it was a kid a couple years ago in Harlem that was about to go to college, all of that. And he got shot just because he went to say what's up to his friends. He was going to school, going to the store, stopped to say what's up to his friends. Some kid comes over there, starts shooting, hits him. Has nothing to do with anything. So if other people had guns at the time, that would have made it a better situation because they could have shot him. It's just all destruction. That's the point I was trying to make when there's weapons. Like, okay, you would like to defend yourself and all of that, but at the end of the day, it's all destruction.
Yeah, we have to learn to value each other and each other's lives. And honestly, like, the only thing, because I don't know if it's the same for you guys the past few days, even friends who aren't super like diehard fans of Nipsey's music have just reached out to be like, yo, I'm feeling really sad about this. How are you feeling? There have been a lot of those conversations in my messages. Like, we're just mourning as a people. Right. And so I actually want to get into this. I think it's a great fan question. This is from West Betsy. The question is, with the unfortunate passing of Nipsey Hussle, do you expect other West Coast artists to join forces for a Stop the Violence movement? You know, something that would make Nipsey proud because he did a lot for the community and for rap. Love the show, by the way. And I don't think it has to be West Coast in general, right? People from all across the nation, like you guys said, have been like...
I mean, you know what, when I see that, I mean, if it was a different time and the energy was different, maybe, yeah. But honestly, I'm really going to say that it seems to me, again, I'm just looking from my perspective, seems like this is an isolated incident that could happen to anyone. Like, again, if someone wants to do something to you, like, you, no matter what Stop the Violence thing you got going on, if you get somebody to the point or whatever they're feeling or going through that day, or they've, you know, like, they get to that point, if they want to hurt somebody, they're going to hurt somebody. You know, you cannot control humans with any type of initiative.
I mean, a whole stop the violence thing, it sounds cool, but no, that's not gonna work. And I can say that off of just firsthand. Like I've gone to marches. I'm not gonna say that things will never change, but the thing about it is, before it gets to, you know, it happening to an artist, we got shit going on every single day, and where there's a lack of resources and there's a lack of education, there's hunger. And when people are hunger and they're not educated as to how they can, and this is not specifically academics, when they're not educated as to how they can feed themselves, they're gonna hurt themselves.
Right.
And with his poverty and there's no education, there's violence. And I think that there's a deeper conversation that needs to be had about things that need to change in the so-called hood, because I really feel like the hood is a mindset, not a place, because same hood I grew up in, they gentrified it, it's the same shit I grew up in, and the mindset is still there. Doesn't matter if they put a new building, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter if they add a Starbucks or any of that other shit. So I think that beyond just stopping the violence, we just need to have like more conversations with our youth and more conversations with people, and I mean, Nipsey was doing a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be the stop the violence movement, but it's going to be continuing the work that Nipsey started in his neighborhood, like opening that center, you know, to advocate for more like STEM, like you said, education, outreach, after school activities, like showing kids that there are other opportunities. It has to start with the younger generation for this to change over time.
I will tell you though, there's no cure for jealousy. Okay, that's one of the worst diseases, even worse than AIDS. There's no cure for what's in somebody's heart. You know, that's really between that person and their higher power. But as hearing you speak, do you subscribe now, or I don't know, like, do you believe in, you know, some people say, or they've been popularizing, I guess recently, saying the streets are a myth. And I think when they say it is that shit just doesn't make sense. Like, there's no logical ends to how shit should go when you're talking about the streets, right?
Well,
because again, if we're having a logical conversation, Nipsey's doing a lot of shit positive, that shouldn't happen to him. You get me?
Right. But it's kind of like,
that's why I think it starts younger. So this guy who committed the crime, he was probably too far gone, right?
Yeah,
but if you catch a kid in elementary school and you show them that there are other options in the world, other ways of thinking, other avenues out, I feel like it has to start at that level.
Well, I think just speaking specifically on that, do I subscribe? What saved me a lot is my neighborhood raised me, right? So I like to credit this guy in my building named Uncle Gene. He was a CEO on Rikers. And when he found out I was doing certain shit, he told me, he's like, yo, I'm telling you right now, when you get the Rikers, if you get the Rikers, there's nothing I could do for you. And just knowing that lingering in my mind, because he's like, I'm not going to tell your mother nothing about what you do around. But if you end up on Rikers Island, I'm not helping you. That lingering in my mind and me being able to see different things kind of deter a lot of my paths. I have friends who are in jail for the rest of their lives for making split decisions. So it teeter-totters, because I feel like when it comes to the street, people always think of this negative like overtone of just like being a tough guy. I think a lot of the principles that Nipsey had came from the streets. The streets is not always selling drugs or hurting people. The streets is policing your streets, advocating for your streets. What I always see in a lot of brothers and sisters that I meet from the West Coast, they got a lot of Black Panther in them. And what I mean by that is like they got a lot of like political awareness about their neighborhoods. If those same ideas were governed in different instances or different ways, it could be a lot of change made. But it's hard to change something for somebody when you can't just feed them. And a lot of people expect you to just feed them. So the whole thing about the streets being a myth, I think
or at least that mentality.
Yeah, I think the mentality, like a lot of it is childish shit, I swear. And I'm not just talking about this instance, but a lot of it is just childish shit. And now that we have social media, it's played into, yo, this nigga liked my girl's picture, or like he commented on something, he said something funny, he wrote a funny emoji under my shit, I'm not feeling that, when I see him, I'm gonna pull up on him. And it's this macho fucking idea of, I gotta be the toughest guy I could be, but all the tough guys go to jail and die. So my thing when I always talk to young people is like, you just gotta want something for yourself.
Yeah, we have to show them that there are other things.
Absolutely.
We have to show them.
Absolutely.
Just continue the work that he started.
Yeah, and while we're hoping that this guy gets caught, whoever is hiding him, I hope they get charged as well. And also, I think an accomplice or just as culpable of murder is the supposed unidentified female that was driving a getaway car around the corner. You know, like, those people are important because this was premeditated. You get me? Like, there's a getaway car waiting. You know what's up. So hopefully justice is served.
Yeah, and hopefully very, very soon. We'll keep updated with this case. Ak, maybe you can take us through some numbers now, and then we'll get to some fan questions.
Yep. So last week we were talking about Nav and Rich the Kid. They dropped their albums. Nav, I think Nav surprised a lot of people. You know, like, he had a 50K increase from his first album, which, I mean, talk about a sophomore slump. You can't call it that when it comes to numbers. So he sold 82,000 units with Bad Habits in his first week, and we saw Rich the Kid, who came in at number 4. He sold 42,000. I think a lot of people were a little bit disappointed by Rich the Kid, even though he claimed he had the best album this year. But the numbers didn't really do or pan out to be what it was last time. But still, you know, we'll see how he works this project. Juice WRLD still selling good. He was number 3 with 54K, and X was still in the top 10. He sold 40K units. So, you know, A Boogie's album been in the top 10 all year. It's like ridiculous. Ridiculous to think.
Yeah.
He's been at number 7, and Post Malone was at number 8. But I mean, overall, I don't think we've had really a heavy hitter album drop yet. But it's kind of dope to see, like, the other artists, like the A Boogies, like you're gonna see Nav. They get their time to have that space on the charts, because sometimes, you know, last year was big release after big release. You would realize, like, the other albums drown out really quickly. But maybe it's just the content of the material too.
It's good to see Nav. Like I think you see how A Boogie, how this last album dropped, and he's had, like, this steady, like, wave of people being engaged and him being on tour and all of that. He's headlining Summer Jam. Well, not headlining, let me not say that. But he's on the main stage at Summer Jam. That's a big accomplishment. You know, when you look at, like, Nav, you look at all the factors that might have played in. I mean, he was on Travis's album, which was a big thing. He's moving around a lot. Weeknd executive produced his album, you know. But I think that Nav he's found his space, and he's going to ride a little wave for a bit as well.
Yeah, we're probably going to see a mentality change from him, because, you know, as he complained about, I believe it was a GQ article, he said, yo, people don't know him. Like he rocks his chain and he gets his Lambo truck, and TMZ don't even take a picture. I seen him on TMZ. Like,
you made it.
So TMZ actually
gotta put it into the universe.
Yeah, TMZ found him. So hopefully, you know, this is more of, you know, even though that's a very superficial type of thing, but hopefully this is more of him realizing and gaining his spot in hip-hop, whatever that be.
All right, thanks for the numbers breakdown, Ak. Time for some fan questions. Now, one of the recurring topics on this show is definitely artists versus their labels, people unhappy with their deal situation. Most recently, we were talking about Uzi and his beef with Generation Now. So here's a fan question from Vince. Do you guys think it would be a good idea for artists and labels to start agreeing on deals the way athletes do? You sign for a certain amount of years and then you hit free agency. That way artists aren't stuck in bad contracts. What do you guys think?
That's exactly what it is now. Like, that's exactly what it is. I mean, if you sign for, let's say you sign for, like, and I'm just giving a general synopsis. Let's say you sign for, like, 2 projects guaranteed with the option of 1, right? Like, most people are not gonna drop 2 in 1 year. That's about 2, maybe 3 years, maybe 3 years, a 4-year term, right? And depending upon how you do, you can renegotiate. Same as an athlete. Like, if there's a kid who comes drafted, like, very, very low, and then he produces high, starts doing all types of things, leads his team somewhere, his next contract he can renegotiate to go higher. Same thing with an artist. So, I mean, this is just a person not having the information, you know?
Yeah, I think this person is thinking so much about sports. They're thinking that contracts work so different when it comes to music. It works pretty much the same. It's just that, like, there's no, like, all right, this is the off season. I mean, music is an all year sport. You get me? And I mean, when it comes to, like, a lot of times in contracts, like, they'll have the album requirements and or years. So it might be like, hey, this contract is for 36 months and or this amount of projects. You get me? So it works pretty much the same way.
Yeah, it definitely works the same way.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, with most of the artists that we're talking about, and I guess that's why he thinks it doesn't work like that, like, these artists are just stopping. Like, imagine, like, LeBron's like, I'm not playing a game anymore. Right? You get me? But that's even different because, like, the season still goes on, right? So whether you play or not, the season goes on. When it comes to your recording contract, if you stop, a lot of times the contract just halts.
Yeah.
You get me? So like if you don't provide, if you have 2 more options, you do not give 2 options. Okay, we're just gonna wait. That's why you could shelf an artist who's not acting right. All right, I got 2 more projects for you. Sit on the shelf, you either buy it out or you just sit there until you just fade away.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing about if LeBron doesn't play any games, that could cause a lockout. Like if LeBron started at the top of the season and said, you know what, I'm not playing, and I'm not playing for these reasons, other players are gonna be like, you know what, I'm not playing either. Nobody in music is gonna stop because the nigga is like, I don't like Def Jam or I don't like Atlantic and I'm not putting nothing out. Everybody's gonna keep going. That's the only difference in music.
Yeah, and also like, as I said, there's no off season. Like the free agency period is kind of like, there's no free agency period really. I mean, of course.
It's for individual artists.
It is when you get out of contract, but honestly, like, your value is changing as your contract is going on. You get me? Like, imagine, and we see this a lot in sports, but we never see the sports except it's football. We never see like a rookie that comes into the NBA who dropped 20 the first year. Now they're like, I'm not playing for no $3 million for the second year. You get me? Like in music, because your shelf life is different, like you got to compare a rapper to a running back. Your shelf life a lot of times is like 3 to 5 years. That's a decent career. If you're really dope, you go to 10. If you're a legend, you go to
20. Yeah, right.
So now, if we're thinking about that short period of time, one album that is outside of what your label predicted and what like you already want to renegotiate. So again, it's a moving thing, and also you're probably also hearing other A&Rs probably in your ear like, yo, y'all hope you got a good deal over there with them because you could be getting this with us.
Oh yeah,
you get me? So
I mean,
again,
and they'll know, like A&Rs will know, like if you on your last project, because they'll start hitting you up, you know, like that. But we do have an off season in music, we do, right?
What is our off
November,
season? Like Christmas time-ish? That's
you
what
know,
it does.
November everything shut down until like the second week of January. Everybody go on vacation, all of that.
No, well, I mean, I guess that's like the dead period of music. But like when I think about off seasons, like all right, everyone's 1 year requirement is done. Now we're on to the next year. Now, like it depends on when you sign.
Yeah.
You get me? So it's pretty individual.
All right, good job, guys. Thank you.
We fix that up. You feel me? Fix that up.
All right, we got another one. Why are people like French Montana, Rich the Kid, and Khaled able to secure guest verses with top-tier artists like Jay and Kendrick so easily? Meanwhile, others can't even get names like Jay and Drake on their albums. Is it the way they build relationships in the game or because of their hustle?
I will take relationships for 500, Alex. Nah, but relationships run everything. I mean, relationships run everything. I think I never went to college, but I know that like a lot of people in music, like they do stuff with other people based on who they went to school with or who they grew up with. It's the same shit with well, I mean on the corporate side. Now, when it comes to making music, you might have, of course, like Jay and Drake built a really great relationship in the beginning of Drake's career, but how much does that benefit going forward? You know what I mean? If Drake, he is the next guy, right? Like I would equate him to the top of the game artist. He's getting game from Jay, right? That's only gonna help OVO artists, you know what I mean? That's only gonna help whomever he's affiliated with. Same with Future, like Future being cool with Drake helps Zoe Dollars and things he's trying to do, or you know what I mean, or everybody under that tier. So it's relationships.
Yeah, I think people are just never not gonna be surprised that Rich the Kid got that Kendrick feature a couple years back.
I was surprised that I think Rich the Kid got like a Frank Ocean feature. Like yo, in 2015 he had a feature with Thug.
He had a feature with everybody.
Yo, he was. But I think relationships in the music industry comes with a little bit of hustle. So I'm gonna throw both of them together because like it is part of your work ethic to maintain those relationships. And also, you probably still got to pester niggas to give you records. You get me? Like, again, we could be cool.
We know that Khaled definitely follows up to get some of those features.
We could be cool.
How Khaled does it, yo. Like, I was like, I used to ask, I'm like, yo, dude, does Khaled like have some crazy business or some shit that he's cutting people in on?
Yo, no lie, I heard what? Khaled, I won't tell you who it is. What? I heard Khaled needed a record, right? Like, so like he spent 6 months, this is what I heard, 6 months to get this record done, right? He got this artist to do it. Now, the artist didn't really like the record like that, and they were also thinking about their rollout. So
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, don't snitch on. Oh my God!
You usually snitch on yourself. All right, go ahead.
But they needed to clear the record, right? So now the person was saying, yo, Khaled, it's the wrong time to do it. We don't want to do it right now because it's going to fuck up our rollout. Yo, Khaled called him and was almost like crying on the phone. Like, you got to do what you got to do, yo. Khaled's somebody you got to respect. Again, it's not only relationship, but that is part of your hustle. Like, he's going to do what it takes.
Yeah.
I see like, when Khaled's getting people on a record, Khaled's having like a mini seizure in the studio with you. You got to hype it up. So again, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I don't think one comes without the other, yo.
Yeah, but I definitely attribute it to the hustle as well, because I think that, like, it could be a new artist and a lot of people might want to fuck with him, but they like, yo, let's see, like, if he's real about this. And once you start making things happen, they will start jumping in. Like, I think Rich the Kid, around that time when he was getting all the features too, he was so I don't know him, but a lot of people say he a likable guy. Like, a lot of people say
he's one of the hardest working men in this industry.
Right. So I think, like, that's another reason why people was like, yo, this dude is going hard. Let's see how we can help.
You know what's funny? One thing that Rich the Kid and French have in common, you know, French was a cameraman. And Rich the Kid, like, shit, I used to call him the fourth Migo.
Well, French wasn't a cameraman.
Well,
he had Cocaine City DVD.
Well,
he also has a reputation for being a hip hop socialite. I heard Wale said, like, he was like, French Montana can move through a room like no one else I've ever seen on some like Obama shit.
But you kind of learn how to do that, like, when you're kind of the underdog, and like, you know, like, you're probably using those associations to even get in the game.
Yeah.
You get me? So like, I kind of credit that to, like, even how French moves, and also, like, if you look at French, like, I know we killed Drake for it, but French shows a lot of love to, like, a lot of young artists. Like, you know, like, remember when Bobby had his joint, he jumped on his records. Like, he dropped his last project, what was it called? It's not Excuse My French, is it?
It's Jungle Rules.
Like, he showed a lot of love to a lot of artists, even from, like, just on some global shit that you wouldn't even expect him to do. And to be honest, I think that kind of opens up the love that people have for him.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he might get a dope record out of it, but one thing that lasts longer than the record is usually a relationship.
Very true.
I don't know how Rich the Kid does it, though. Rich the Kid, he moves
People
about,
like him,
yeah.
man. People like him.
All right. Yo, do you guys mind if we do some quick hits? We'll save some more fan questions for tomorrow. All right, so it's happening. It's official. According to sources close to Young Thug's camp, J. Cole will executive produce his new album. Now, we know these two, like, have caught a vibe. They toured together. So, I mean, we always say that, like, Thugger is obviously very talented, but, like, is not so structured necessarily in the way that he releases music. J. Cole seems like he has some structure in his life. Do you guys think this could be great?
I know you're excited about this.
You know what? I was going to phrase my question differently because I know you're going to start the bullshit.
That's what I'm trying to
It's two of my favorite people working together, man. This is great.
I think that this will be good. I'm happy that it says new album and not debut album, because everybody thinks that Thug has never dropped an album before.
To be honest, like, because their music is so different, I don't honestly know what to expect.
He's not calling that shit hot.
Yo, honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. Like, I really don't know. Like, I know people, like in hip hop, we do the fancy football shit, which means it looks good on paper. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, let's keep it real. And how into it will he be? You get me? Like, is he doing the LeBron just nodding his head in the room like, yo, this fire, Thug, this hot? Or is he, like, really intricately involved in, yo, Thug, go grab him? Nah. This ain't the track you throw a bunch of YSL people on. No. Is it that type of shit?
That's what I would expect.
Well, we probably are not gonna know, but I think that this goes one of two ways. I think that this is really, really, really good, or a disaster.
That's what the internet believes.
There's no in between.
Here's the thing, though.
There's no in between.
And this is what I fear. J. Cole should not be giving Thugger no advice on beats.
What you mean? He's a producer.
J. Cole beats been stale for the last 4 years.
That's bullshit.
But I don't think he's going to try to make Thug rap on the same beats that he raps on.
Exactly. He's not.
I think it's going to be what you're saying, just advice on how to put things together.
I hate when J. Cole raps on his own production.
All right, so look, I'll say this. When I was at the Dreamville brunch, right? The DJ was playing everything. They playing Future. Them niggas knew every single word. Like, I'm watching them rap along with Future shit, so they know the music. Like, I think you'd be surprised to see how much Thugger music that J. Cole actually knows, or Future music that J. Cole and his team actually knows, but they listening to that shit. So I think that they got, one thing you can't question about J. Cole.
J. Cole listen to pump. I believe that. I'm just saying
ear,
that.
Dog.
Yo, I hate certain rappers. And I was about to get there with Russ too. I hate when this little DIY shit where everybody's like, yo, after a while, every producer has a sound. And even if you're self-producing, you have a sound. And you have a rapping sound as well. So, like, after a while, a couple of years, bro, like, your beats start sounding a little stale, bro.
Act thinks that Cole is gonna do all the beats on the album.
I don't think that's how it's gonna
He might
go.
suggest that nigga to get on beats like that. You know what I mean? I don't want that.
No.
I don't
He's
want
not
that.
doing that. Come on, you gotta give Cole more credit than that, bro.
Listen, we gonna lock Cole in the room with Thug and London on the track. We need all London on the track beats, all right?
All London?
Yes. London and Thug, they're like
They got
a Metro,
legendary shit.
Yeah, they're like a Metro Future.
But I wanna hear Thug on Metro shit too.
Yeah.
Metro Boomin wants some more. Like that whole tagline came from him working with Metro too. So
True,
Thugger has a lot of.
I feel
As long as it stays like that, I don't want
Yeah.
Cole to bring him left field.
I don't think that's
You
what's
want a 40
happening.
on
I
there?
think he's gonna help him with the things that you were saying. Just help him rein it in. Like, don't put all of your boys on this one song. It doesn't make sense. Hopefully, it's that kind of thing. We'll see.
We'll see.
Hope.
Yeah, a lot of Thug's music be good, but sometimes they come across like how Pac made music, in the sense of you could tell like it was a good idea and everybody was so like just smoked out, like, yo, jump on this shit, man, and it just turns into like,
I
yes,
want to
this
hear
is it.
Thugger's song with Cole and Drake. I would like to hear that. That'd be dope. Produced by Cole.
Yeah, like hearing Cole on the 21 record, I feel like this could definitely work. Like he can get in those pockets. It's not like he's gonna make Cole trying to turn into
Cole
him.
got he on 21 album, Moneybagg Yo album, and Offset album.
And we like all of those features, right?
Absolutely.
Another thing,
I hear
see
when
it right here, so
I hear when he
don't
has
let
that
that
look in his
conscious
eyes.
nigga Cole
Here we
remove
go.
the ignorance from your album.
I don't think that's gonna
Alright?
happen. No one's gonna change Young Thug. That's
Right.
just not happening now,
can't
not
change
never. All right, what else we got? Jada Pinkett Smith and August Alsina. Very interesting relationship. So last week, August released a remix of Kehlani's track Nunya, and the music video has some people online thinking that he and Jada have more than a casual relationship. Check it out.
You can get mad at the way I react. You got me feeling like it wasn't nice. You're just an actress putting on a show. 'Cause you don't want the world to know.
Like I said, they've been close for a minute. August hangs out at the crib.
Wait.
He's trolling.
Ain't she married?
Yeah, of course. She's Jada Pinkett Smith. He's trolling. He's trolling. But
He's just responding to all the internet bullshit.
it's cool trolling though. Like it's cool trolling because nobody's gonna disrespect Will Smith. Like come on, Will Smith is a made man.
If
Man.
this was Beyonce, you wouldn't say this is trolling.
Why
I'd
would
be
I
like, bro, come on,
not? Man, niggas make songs about having a Beyonce every day. People put that shit in their bars all the time. Are you kidding me?
Oh, this ain't a real conversation? I'm still scared.
The chat nigga, like he's questioning this is
No.
real.
If people are misconstruing a friendship and you're playing with that, it could be taken as disrespect.
I don't
It's
think
one
Will
thing to
Smith
fantasize.
cares.
Complete fantasy, fine.
I think Will Smith
But
would think something like this is dope.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like they're such an open, like cool,
They have an
progressive
open relationship,
family
don't
that
they?
I don't
Will care about
know.
nothing.
I don't know. I'm not saying nothing about their alleged open relationship.
Yo,
I'm just
stop
saying I don't
trying-
think Will Smith cares.
Hey yo, you stop trying to make it seem like Beyonce is my aunt and Jay is my uncle or some shit. He like if it's Beyonce,
Bro.
you ain't gonna feel like that.
you would be clicking like report post on this shit when that nigga put this up.
Post.
This nigga's horrible, man. I would not care, man. Like I think that August Alsina is just having fun, and he has he opened up a lot with Jada Pinkett or her show, her podcast.
Red Table Talk,
The
yeah.
Red Table
The
Talk.
legendary. Have you seen the show yet, Act?
No,
We should watch it together.
Isn't it like it's a podcast thing, right? Jordan Woods was on it, right?
Yeah, look at you keeping up with pop culture.
He know about the bullshit. He don't
Yeah.
know what
I mean, I don't watch that type of stuff really, but I haven't seen August Alsina in a while. And I know he popped up and he has some, like he's been going through a lot of personal.
Yeah, he's going through a lot of
personal things. And he's one of the examples of, money, sometimes they don't cure problems, they create more problems. Because, watching him over the years and seeing him share certain parts of his family life and how
He's almost
he's
going
been-
blind. Like
Yeah.
he's been through a lot.
Shit, I saw one thing where like his family hated him over money he didn't give. And I'm like, damn, sometimes, it can be really.
But I mean, salute to him now because he's taking. I think his sister passed away or something like that. He's taking care of his niece. Like he's taking care of his niece. But I think he's just having fun with this. I don't see the way he's been presenting himself as of late. I wouldn't see him doing nothing disrespectful. I think, of course, that has to be cleared anyway.
Honestly though, when he came out, I felt like that was almost like the last. I don't want to be disrespectful. I feel like
You can't help it.
Like R&B had a run where you were like, oh, this is the new guy. You know what I mean? Like now, I don't think we look at R&B like that no more.
What do you mean?
Or at least that type of R&B. Like I'm not talking about the guys
Like
you be
thug
listening to.
R&B?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like the you know, it was Trey Songz, then he kind of like took the torch from Trey Songz, and before Trey was Chris Brown, like that type of
What
R&B.
about Jacquees? Just kidding. Hey, but
Jacquees might just remix this shit
August
and
still
get that
had one
nigga
of
outta
the best like TV moments of all time. Remember that shit? You just gonna go against the grain, huh?
here. Yeah.
It's fucking great. Anyway, shout out to August. Still a fan. I think that's it. Oh no, real quick. Jussie Smollett. This is probably the last time we'll ever talk about him. I can't imagine what else would come.
Right? We say that every week.
Oh man. So according to TMZ, like the city of Chicago is demanding that he pay like a little over $130,000 like ASAP to cover the cost of the investigation into his alleged assault, including the cost of police officers, all the people who worked overtime on the cases. Do you guys think this is too much or just fair?
You know what I think? You're not just going to leave. Like, we dropped them charges, you're going to have to pay for something. Like, they're going to hold them accountable for something. So this is an example.
He starts like twitching in one eye when you mention his name.
And I do dislike that lying piece of shit. But, bro, you dropped the charges. You shouldn't have dropped the charges.
Okay.
Don't come with like, yo, wait, you want me to pay you for investigating me? Fuck out of here, nigga. You didn't do a good job investigating. You dropped the charges. Don't charge me nothing. I'm not paying you not a goddamn thing.
You're so fair.
That's on you wasted taxpayers' money.
That's true.
Don't come at me for that. If I'm Jussie, again, and knowing his line ass, he'll probably definitely do. So I have a press conference and tell him to eat a dick. I'm not paying shit. Y'all dropped the charges. I'm innocent. I'm walking free. I didn't tell y'all to investigate.
There you have it, y'all.
That's it. I feel like we're done on that note.
Yeah, right.
Thank you. Thank
But
you.
ain't that ridiculous? I'm not paying nothing. Imagine getting a parking ticket or getting like some type of speed
Getting
ticket.
a parking ticket is not.
I know.
Like, what are you talking about?
I'm simplifying it. You get a speeding ticket, you go to court, you beat it, right? And then they basically charge you for pulling you over. Like, nah, man, fuck out of here. You were wrong.
I guess, man. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle.
If I'm just here, I ask for an apology from them.
What? All right, we gotta go.
Drop the charges. They're an idiot.
All right. Hey, thank you guys for watching Everyday Struggle. We appreciate it. We'll be back here tomorrow at the same time on Complex.
We out.